Luke chapter 6. On a Sabbath, while he was going through the grain fields, his disciples plucked and ate some of the heads of grain, rubbing them in their hands. But some of the Pharisees said, "Why are you doing what is not lawful to do on the Sabbath?" And Jesus answered them, "Have you not read what David did when he was hungry, he and those who were with them? How he entered the house of God and took and ate the bread of the presence, which is not lawful for any but the priests to eat, and he also gave it to those with him. And he said to them, The Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath." On another Sabbath he entered the synagogue and was teaching, and a man was there whose right hand was withered, and the scribes and the Pharisees watched him to see whether he would heal on the Sabbath, so that they might find a reason to accuse him. But he knew their thoughts, and he said to the man with the withered hand, "Come and stand here." And he rose and stood there. And Jesus said to them, "I ask you, is it lawful on the Sabbath to do good or to do harm, to save life or to destroy it?" And after looking around at them, all he said to him was, "Stretch out your hand." And he did so, and his hand was restored. But they were filled with fury and discussed with one another what they might do to Jesus. In these days he went out to the mountain to pray, and all night he continued in prayer to God. And when day came, he and his disciples, and chose from them 12, whom he named apostles: Simon, whom he named Peter, and Andrew his brother, and James and John and Philip, and Bartholomew and Matthew and Thomas, and James the son of Alphaeus, and Simon who was called the Zealot, and Judas the son of James, and Judas Iscariot, who became a traitor. And when he came down with them and stood on a level place, with this great crowd of his disciples and a great multitude of people, all from Judea and Jerusalem and the sea coast of Tyre and Sidon, who came to hear him and to be healed of their diseases. And those who were troubled with unclean spirits were cured. And all the crowd sought to touch him, for power came out from him and healed them all. And he lifted up his eyes on his disciples and said, "Blessed are you who are poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. Blessed are you who are hungry now, for you shall be satisfied. Blessed are you who weep now, for you shall laugh. Blessed are you when people hate you, and when they exclude you, when they rival you and spurn your name as evil, on account of the Son of Man. Rejoice in that day and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in heaven, for so their fathers did to the prophets. But woe to you who are rich, for you have received your consolation. Woe to you who are full now, for you shall be hungry. Woe to you who laugh now, for you shall mourn and weep. Woe to you when all people speak well of you, for so their fathers did to the false prophets. But I say to you who hear, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who abuse you. To one who strikes you on the cheek, offer the other also. And from one who takes away your cloak, do not withhold your tunic either. Give to everyone who begs from you, and from one who takes away your goods, do not demand them back. And as you wish that others would do to you, do so to them. If you love those who love you, what benefit is that to you? For even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good to those who do good to you, what benefit is that to you? For even sinners do the same. And if you lend to those from whom you expect to receive, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners, to get back the same amount. But love your enemies and do good, and lend, expecting nothing in return, and your reward will be great. And you will be sons of the Most High, for he is kind to the ungrateful and the evil. Be merciful even as your Father is merciful. Judge not, and you will not be judged. Condemn not, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. Give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be put into your lap. For with the measure you used, it will be measured back to you. He is also told a parable. Can a blind man lead a blind man? Will they not both fall into a pit? A disciple is not above his teacher, but everyone, when he is fully trained, will be like his teacher. Why do you see the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, "Brother, let me take out the speck that is in your eye," when you yourself do not see the log that is in your own eye? You hypocrite! Take first the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take out the speck that is in your brother's eye. For no good tree bears bad fruit, nor again does a bad tree bear good fruit. For each tree is known by its own fruit. For figs are not gathered from thorn bushes, nor are grapes picked from bramble bush. The good person out of his good treasure of his heart produces good, and the evil person out of evil treasure produces evil. For out of the abundance of the heart his mouth speaks. Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and not do what I tell you? Everyone who comes to me and hears my words and does them, I will show you what he is like. He is like a man building a house who dug deep and laid the foundation on the rock. And when a flood arose, the stream broke against that house and could not shake it, because it had been well built. But the one who hears and does not do them is like a man who built a house on the ground without a foundation. When the stream broke against it, immediately it fell, and the ruin of that house was great. Luke 6 opens with Jesus and his disciples traveling long distances. Hungry and tired, as they walk, they pluck grain from the fields. A simple act of gathering food, but the Pharisees, who seem to be watching Jesus' every move, pounce on the moment. They accuse him and his disciples of breaking the Sabbath. The interesting thing is that plucking grain was not actually forbidden in the law. It only violated the Pharisees' added rules, the traditions they built around the Sabbath. Jesus responds by reminding them that he is the Lord of the Sabbath. He created it, he knows its purpose. The Sabbath was made to serve people, not to burden them. From there, Jesus enters the synagogue, his usual place of teaching, and again the Pharisees watch closely, hoping to catch him sinning. A man with a withered hand is present, and Jesus asks the Pharisees a question that exposes the heart of the matter. Is it lawful to do good or to do harm on the Sabbath? They have no answer. Jesus heals the man anyway, perfectly fulfilling the law and revealing God's heart. And imagine that man's night. Imagine suddenly having full strength and a hand that was once lifeless. Do you think he picked things up just because he could? What joy must have filled him? After these encounters, Luke tells us Jesus withdraws to pray. This is a pattern in his ministry. No matter how busy he is, no matter how many people need him, he always makes time to be with the Father. It's worth asking, is prayer where we start our days, or is it what we sprinkle over the top when life gets hard? If Jesus, who had perfect wisdom, needed time with God, how much more do we? After prayer, Jesus chose the 12 disciples, who will travel with him. And as soon as he descends the mountain, crowds from everywhere gather, seeking healing and truth. Luke shows us that Jesus' miracles always accompany his teaching. Why? Because the miracles authenticate the messenger. If Jesus heals the sick, casts out demons, and restores the broken, then his message must be from God. The works prove the words. Jesus then begins to teach, and he starts by announcing 3 unexpected blessings. Blessed are the poor, the hungry, and those who weep. It sounds upside down because it is. Jesus is speaking both physically and spiritually. He is saying, blessed are those who know their need, because they will find this sufficiency in me. The same is true today. The hardships of this world are temporary, and the deep hunger of our souls will one day be fully satisfied in the presence of God. Jesus then flips the script with 3 woes, warnings to the rich, the full, and the laughing. He's not condemning joy or success. He's addressing those who anchor their hope in worldly comfort instead of in him. Because what we treasure shapes what we become. Then Jesus moves from internal attitudes to outward actions. He calls his followers to love not only friends and neighbors, but enemies, even those who persecute, mistreat, and oppose them. And decades after Jesus' resurrection, Christians would face persecution, imprisonment, and death. And yet Jesus' commands remains. Love them, pray for them, do good to them. Why? Because this is exactly what Christ did for us. We were once enemies, and he loved us anyway. Who in your life is the hardest to love? A coworker? A family member? A neighbor? Jesus asks us to treat them the same way he treated us, with grace. Jesus then addresses judgment. Verse 37 is often quoted, "Do not judge." But what Jesus really teaches is about humility, empathy, and self-awareness. Before correcting others, we must look at our own hearts first. If we fail to do that, we become the very hypocrites Jesus warns against. Because the truth is, our actions always flow from our hearts. We are shaped by what we consume, what we watch, listen to, engage in, and dwell on. If we fill our hearts with envy, anger, or junk, we shouldn't be surprised when those things spill out into our relationships. Jesus ends his teaching with a picture. A house built on a rock versus a house built on sand. Both houses hear the truth. Only one does something with it. If we hear Jesus' words, but do not act on them, we're like a house ready to collapse. Even Satan knows the truth, but he does not obey it. Jesus calls us to something deeper. Not just knowing the truth, but living it. Luke 6 invites us to examine our lives, our rhythms, our priorities, our relationships, our hearts. Are we grounding ourselves in prayer like Jesus did? Are we loving those who do not love us? Are we depending on Christ rather than comforts of this world? Are we building on rock, not just hearing but doing his words? Jesus invites us into his upside-down kingdom, one where the poor find blessing, the broken find healing, and even enemies receive love. And the invitation still stands today.